Welcome, everybody. I'm Mike Popowski, CEO of Dagger. Dagger is a digital anchored agency based in Atlanta. I'm going to talk today about the dangers of long-term planning and a couple truths or factors that have really changed our industry and changed our world as marketers. Eric Schmidt famously said in 2010 that more information is created every 2 days than was created from the beginning of time to 2003. So that was in 2010 when he said that. So what's happened since 2010? A lot. Eyeballs and attention are shifting to more modern platforms, and we're still not catching up. One factor is the acceleration of change. Other one is the fact that consumers are in control. We've heard this before, but it's happened. Mobile has proliferated. We're all carrying around one of these. Millennials are checking these 150 plus times a day. Consumers are continuing to pay to opt out of ads. So if you're familiar with the freemium model, it's been around for a while. Pandora is an example of that. If you pay $4, you're basically opting out of advertising. Content marketing is a strategic marketing approach focused on creating and distributing valuable, relevant, and consistent content to attract and retain a clearly defined audience and ultimately to drive profitable customer action. I would argue that that's just marketing right now. If you're not producing content that's valuable, relevant, and consistent for consumers, they're in control and they're going to block it out. I talked about Oculus Rift, we talked about Samsung Gear, we talked about Google Cardboard coming into the market. That's real, that's happening, brands are using it. There's been so much talk of video, and for good reason, with our infrastructure improving, we're able to ingest video on our mobile devices, and Cisco's saying that 87% of internet consumption is going to be video by the year 2019. But if you haven't tried this is talk about immersive and talk about activating all sensors and talk about really interesting ways to bring consumers closer to your brand. And I'm going to show you an example.
Whoa. It's crazy because I kind of have the fear of heights and I'm flying right now. This is wild.
I see Julio. Hi, Julio.
This is amazing.
What'd you think?
That was crazy.
Yeah, that was wild.
That was powerful.
Feel like you know what it's like to be on a giving trip?
Yeah, absolutely.
That video is on YouTube. You can insert into your smartphone, render that movie on YouTube into Google Cardboard for $20-30 and have the whole 360 experience, which is pretty cool. Talking about relevance, I thought was a fantastic and really clever example of a way that our Hometown Hawks published their schedule. One, connecting with the audience in a much greater way, in a much more relevant way, but goes back to the earned media factor. When you do something clever like this, more people share it, more awareness, and increasing sort of the cutting edge aspect of their brand. Looking ahead, what are some thematic takeaways that you can take from these changes that have occurred in technology, cultural relevance, and the consumers being in control? One is just understanding this idea of working versus non-working media. That used to be the old paradigm was spend 80% of your budget in working dollars, which was actually paid advertising, and 20 into content production, creative. Progressive marketers are shifting far from that. Coke has a great model. They invest 70% of their budget in tried and true, 20 in emerging platforms, which are the VRs and the ARs of this world, and then 10% moonshot. And that's a big amount of money, 10% to be investing in just unproven grounds, to be testing and learning and growing faster. As marketers, we've got to be moving faster. We've got to be empowering our teams to mobilize quickly. And I think something that I'm seeing with a lot of the brands that we're working with, I walked into a Fortune 1000 a couple weeks ago whose main target is millennials, and I said, hey, you guys on Snapchat? No, we're not. We're still trying to figure out Instagram. So those are the kind of conversations that are going to put them behind. And I would just encourage, if there's any brand marketers out there who are struggling with agility, come talk to me after. Would love to sit down and chat. Thanks.